All right, welcome to another edition of Forwarding WordPress WordCamp Santa Clarita. These are some of the voices that are going to appear on stage at WordCamp Santa Clarita, and I'm joined by the awesome Jen Miller.
Hi,
Thank you
Joe.
for joining
Good to
us.
be here today.
Awesome. The cool thing about WordPress community, and I mention this all the time, is the people that you meet. And I remember meeting you. I always would see you at every WordCamp because you organize every WordCamp in Southern California. But I remember as a speaker at WordCamp Orange County, Bridget introduced me to you face to face, and it was just such a cool experience. For those that don't know, the WordCamp Orange County lead up for the speakers is sort of like a pep rally, and it was just such a cool family experience. So I always remember you from that moment. So thanks for coming on.
Oh, thank you. Well, I remember you from your talks. I've seen you talk at several WordCamps and always been so impressed. You
Thank you.
deliver great, and you really seem to build a rapport with the audience and have great tips to share. So
Thank you.
It was exciting to see you leading your own WordCamp.
Nice. Well, it's all the great people that do it already were sort of my mentors, and I sort of watch from the distance and I'm going to try to do it right. So tell us about your presentation. You're going to be talking about, the title of the speech is Humanizing Storytelling, Drama and Authenticity Connect Audiences to Brands. Tell us what the audience can expect.
Okay. Well, my goal is to recharge people on how to tell their story and help it to further their brand, so that they can sort of re-energize how they feel about content and maybe see it from a different perspective. And I'll be sharing tips, I'll be sharing case studies that we've actually done with clients that have helped them to engage better with their audience. Let's see, I have some steps that I've shared in other WordCamp talks. I'm not going to be talking so much about those, but I'm going to be getting a little more specific. So beginners will definitely learn something, but even advanced and intermediate users and bloggers will be able to take the information that I share and build their brand with that. And,
that's awesome.
Others to understand how to share their brand as well.
Cool. That sounds really interesting. Why don't you, now I know you've been in the WordPress community since I've been there. Tell me about your journey into it and what you do, and then we'll lead into what you do with your business.
Sounds good. It actually works hand in hand with my business because that's how I got started. I have been a writer for decades. I used to be a newspaper journalist, and in 1996 wrote my first website content and started getting into doing websites for nonprofit organizations. And after a few years, I was approached by a blogging syndicate who wanted content for it called today.com. They were like a news agency for bloggers, and they wanted me to write for them. And so I wrote on several of their blogs and did that for a few years, and then was looking for something that they changed their compensation structure and company structure. And so I was looking for something a little different at that point. And I had someone offer me an opportunity to start writing community-based news for different real estate agents on their personal blogs. So it was 12 different agents, and I started writing content on WordPress for them. I think we were WordPress 2.0 at that point. And I had used it a little bit before then, but we were like cutting edge to be, moving forward, and WordPress
out on the
doing things
frontier
for people. And but that's a long time ago. That was 2009. So at that point, I sort of figured out a formula and was using it for a lot of those clients. And then after doing that for about 6 years for this one business, I decided that I wanted to go into a different industry and start writing, because I had some friends that owned businesses that needed help with their content. And so I started writing for other people in different industries. So I still do some real estate, but we do all industries, and we have clients all over the world. We're not just centered in Orange County or San Diego like we used to be. We have a much wider base now. And so that's how I got into WordPress. And then with WordPress, you can't just stay in your little place, you end up expanding. And so I was a writer and a blogger. And then I started, doing CSS on different sites to make it happen the way I wanted it to be. And then I did a little more graphics, and then I took some developer courses. And so over time, you get to the point where, you can build a site. And so with my business, I have two businesses, actually. I have a blogging business and I have a website development business. And we develop on two platforms. One is WordPress, and another one is a different platform that's not WordPress. And
that'll remain nameless.
I don't need to do that. It's actually a proprietary platform for a friend of mine's company. So it's not something that we would do just wide. I mean, we do like 10 websites a week on that platform, but we're not. It's not something that everybody in WordPress is going to know about because it's a different platform. So.
Awesome. Talk to me about the things that you do with your Meetup. Now, you are part of the people that created Women in WP. Tell me about.
Well, actually, Women Who WP is who we do, is what I founded. And originally, we just started it as a meetup in Orange County. And there were a group of us, and Bridget, I don't know if you know Yvonne, Karen, but we kind of met and realized that we were sharing ideas. And Priscilla Christian, sorry. I don't know if you know our origin story, but if you don't, I'll tell it to you. So we had gone to all these local meetups, and we're finding that the women in the meetups weren't speaking up. They weren't raising hands. They weren't really offering ideas up. And we didn't understand why, because knowing all of the people in the group, everybody was very accommodating and inclusive, and we all could talk one-on-one. But once you got into that classroom situation, conversation stopped as far as the women were concerned. And so I thought it would be good to have everyone get together over dinner and just talk about the WordPress community and what do you do in WordPress, and just make connections. So we decided to start a group called Women Who WP because we wanted to go out to eat and we wanted to talk WordPress. And we had our first meeting, and we had, I think, 8 in attendance. We even had a male there. He was a baby, but he was male. And from there it grew. And we actually had a host that was sponsoring us for a while. And so we would have our meetings at a restaurant, and people would come every month. And sometimes we had over 30 people who would show up at our meetup. And we started a nonprofit group based on that, so that if people wanted to start up chapters in other locations, they could, while still falling under the guidelines and sort of the framework that we had set up for Women Who WP, because we wanted it to be a safe place. And we wanted it to feel just as welcoming 5 years from now as it felt when we first got started with it. And since then, there have been a lot of people that have come on the scene with different women's organizations. I know, like on the panels that they go to different WordCamps. I think they're calling themselves Women in WordPress. And so that's why I was like,
oh, I'm sorry for the mistake there.
It's fine. We're all friends. So it's a non-issue at all. There's no like competition. We're not making money off this. It's just, we're trying to gather as we can. And so as many groups as there are that are being inclusive is fantastic. We have lots of men that attend our meetup, and when we have events that come, and it's just good. I think Yvonne Conway is the one, Yvonne Conway Williams is on our board of directors, and she said women just dialogue differently. And that's sort of where everything evolved from, is we decided to understand that and to allow the flow of conversation to be more like talking to your girlfriend on the phone versus instructional. And that has, I think, given people a safe place to learn, and they start with us and then they go into the larger WordPress community and seem to really excel. And we have lots of people who have come and sat and been very quiet, and next thing we know, they're speaking on stage.
Oh, that's what I wanted to find out, of your membership core. Have they gone on to speak on stage and it sounds like do incredible things.
Oh, I would say just everybody has. And it may be their local meetup. It may be a big stage. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that they've broadened from where they started. And we've seen those flowers bloom, so to speak, and it's been amazing to be a part of it. And so right now, we just continue to have the meetup every month and provide that just, I guess actually we provide one more thing, because we did have a WAPU developed.
Oh, nice. I saw the Rosie the Riveter.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Sherry and Cheryl LaPrade made that for Women Who WP, and she's gone viral. Like, she was, I think, on the Huffington Post in an article. Someone wore the shirt. And,
oh, that's cool.
We've when they were talking about Gutenberg, there was a big sign when it was first being launched at WordCamp US. There was a big sign out there that said, "You can do it," and it had our Rosie on there. And they used it in the slideshow announcing the arrival of Gutenberg and that type of thing. And so it's been very exciting for us, because we were able to be part of something much bigger than our local organization or one individual. And we've been able to unite people through that symbol, but also through the concept of what we're trying to do. And WordPress as an organization has actually, I think, made a lot of progress in the last few years towards inclusivity, and especially with speakers. They're offering training to people who may not feel comfortable with speaking, and they're helping. Jill Binder, I know, has done a lot to help women and other groups who don't necessarily feel comfortable bridge that, so that they can start speaking more, and all of us can feel much more comfortable while speaking at our local WordCamps.
That's incredible. And I think that's another thing that I really enjoy, is that it's so inclusive and so encouraging. I mean, I've gotten so much help in terms of planning this WordCamp, and just getting encouraging moments when I'm down about things. As an organizer, I'm sure you know that during the course of the planning, things go like this. So,
exactly.
So the community has been so great. So people like you make it so cool. So it's great to hear about what you're doing there. Let's sort of change pace a little bit and sort of wrap up. Tell me something that, someone that may approach you at the WordCamp, like a funny story or something you want to share, or you could just talk about anything you want to share to close with.
Okay. I was thinking about that before, and the funny stories I have are mainly just the companionship, because once you've been involved in a community like this, there are inside jokes that just happen because you've been interacting with the same people. And there's, like Hi Roy is one of those things. Maybe you don't know about it, but somebody built.
What is Hi Roy?
Okay, so Roy Savan is in the Los Angeles community.
Oh, okay.
And if you see him at WordCamp, you need to say, "Hi, Roy," because everyone does.
Okay.
And it started as I think somebody tweeted out, "Say hi, Roy," say hi to Roy, or something like that. And so there, and then I think Rachel Cherry made some kind of website where people could say hi to Roy. And so people would say, "Hi, Roy, hi, Roy." And it's become this thing. And it just shows you it's not all about code. It's not all about trying to make your business work. It's about community. And when you see people kind of rallying together and supporting, just with a friendly "Hi, Roy," or supporting through fundraising. We've had people in our community who have struggled with all kinds of things, with health issues, with wanting to raise money to adopt children, with materials being destroyed, different things, or a MacBook, having a problem, where the community pulled together and helped to raise funds for their friend. That doesn't happen everywhere, but that happens in WordPress.
Yeah.
And it, you know, hopefully there aren't that many needs like that, but when there are, people rise to the occasion because we're all united through this programming software that we use called WordPress.
That's a great, great story. So I'll finish there. Like I said, I know you're as a business owner, you probably got a million things to do. So I really appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to see you next week. We're again next Friday, next Saturday, WordCamp Santa Clarita. Jen's going to be on our Saturday slate with a great topic. So make sure you join us. And thanks again, Jen, for joining us. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.